Hello, my name is Hersh, and welcome to the HERshyt show. Well, a little bit about it. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you'll probably cuss at me, but that's all right. I just want to bring to you the realization of what's really going on in this world that a lot of people are afraid to speak on. Enjoy. Hello, welcome back to the HERshyt show. So, this week we're going to discuss something that I am nowhere near an expert on, but I do know the basics, and I do believe that there are some individuals that need the neighborhood-friendly reminder about starting your credit, building your credit, or fixing your credit. Again, I am no expert. I have done my own, and I know of organizations or companies that can assist you. But I wanted to touch the basics, the common sense factor that a lot of us were not taught growing up. And we had to learn after we jacked up our credit enough and then wanted to go actually buy a house or buy a car or get some type of credit. And we were told hell no, because our debt to income ratio, or we had too much in collections, or whatever. I'm gonna tell you, I did not get serious about fixing my credit until I was about 26 years old. I was in Iraq, and it just dawned on me that I needed to start actually paying attention to my credit report. So I did the, what's it called? The free annual report that you can get. I went through all the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. You know, the one that tends to get hacked quite often or breached or whatever they want to call it. But I pulled all three of them. 26 years old, sitting in Al-Ramadi, Iraq. Started going through and trying to pay attention to what was going on with collections. Come to find out, apparently I had a gas bill from when I was 8, 9 years old. Y'all, quite sure I'm not the only one that their parents used their name growing up. But of course, that was quickly removed from my credit report because I was 9. So that was not an issue when disputing. So what I did was I sat down and I disputed every single collections or every account that I had on there just to see what would happen. And magically, quite a few of them fell off. But after 7 years, most of them fall off anyway. But don't get it twisted, because they can come back. They can reopen and put a new date on it, or a more updated date on it, if I'm not mistaken. So I advise you to pay attention to the basics. Your debt to income ratio. Look at how much you make a year. Not everybody's running around making 75K plus or 400K a year. Not everybody's running around with that kind of money. You might just have 36,000 or 40,000 a year, which is nothing wrong with that. But you got to live within your means, and you got to understand your credit. If you go to buy a house, and I learned when I bought my first house, you have to keep your credit cards under 30%. That's what they highly advise. You can do it under 50%, but under 30%. So when you go to buy a home, they're looking at your debt to income ratio. They're looking at the history length of your credit, meaning don't go out buying a car every other month and trying to open up all these different credit accounts because it looks like you're just trying to do too much. Not just a car. If you keep applying for all these different credit cards, or you keep applying for store credit or whatever kind of credit, that's a red flag to mortgage lenders or any type of lender, business loan personnel, banks. they're looking at you like this mug is just trying to do too much. You going above your means. And that's just ridiculous. How are you going to be able to pay everything off? That's what you might be at risk because you keep getting your credit checked. They look at, it's not really a big thing, but they are going to look at how many times you've gotten your credit checked. Them hard checks, them hard inquiries, they're looking at that. You want to buy a house, they're going to go after a couple of months of bank statements. They want to see how you spend your money. Are you just paying all your bills and buying some groceries? Or are you just splurging everything and living check to check and you don't have to be? So you need a budget plan. So you also need installment credit. So installment credit is if you're just now building your credit because you wiped everything off of your credit report and you're starting over, or you are literally young and you are starting, or you always paid in cash and now you need some type of credit, go get a $500 loan. Pay it off monthly, and you have the option to flip that loan. Guess what's going to happen? Instead of closing it out, flip it. Pay it off, flip it. Get more. That way, as long as you're paying on time, it's building your credit history. It's showing that you can pay on time. Why not? That's an installment loan. Your student loans, that's an installment loan too. Remember I told you can't run from those? It will reflect the bad on your credit report if you don't pay them on time. And when I say pay them on time, a lot of people get it twisted. Just from experience, like I said, I'm not an expert. Bills and whatnot, you have a 29, 30-day window, or until the next billing cycle comes around. If your installment loan or credit card is due on the 15th and you can't pay it until the 19th or the 20th, it's okay. Don't have an anxiety attack that is going to reflect bad on your credit. You're still within that grace period. It hasn't hit your credit yet. As long as you pay it before the next billing cycle, it might not be on the 20th or the 30th. You need to understand when your bills are due. And you have a little bit of grace period. Just like with your lights, just like with your mortgage, just like with, everything else. Don't have a panic attack because you couldn't pay it on the 15th. They're not going to come take the card. They're not going to cut off your lights unless you're already 30 days behind. They're not going to snatch your credit card unless you have wiggle room. But a closed mouth don't get fed. So you need to call that company and discuss with them that you might need to change your payment dates. It'll help you out in the long run. So back to the house buying. You need at least, they're looking for revolving credit. They're looking for installment credit. They're looking at the length of the history that you have. What is the oldest date of your account? Are you consistently shutting things down? Installment loans, understandable. If you don't flip it, then of course it's going to close. Ask them to keep it on your credit report. If you have collections and a collection agency purchased your contract from the original loaner or the original debtor, once they purchase your contract to try to collect on it, because this, for example, Sprint or Verizon or whatever, if they're not going to have an internal collections department. Possibly they might now, because a lot of people have learned, but they might sell your account because they don't feel like chasing after that certain amount of money. They're going to write it off. They're going to sell it to a collection agency to get 80% or whatever. They come into an agreement of buying your account. Now this collection agency keeps consistently calling you. And you have every right, by law, federal law, to tell that collection agency you don't want to be contacted. Don't call my phone. Don't write me. Let me be. And they actually have to abide by your wishes, or you could take them to court. I seriously doubt you're going to, but you can, it's against federal law or federal regulation for them to come after you if you tell them that you don't want to be contacted. It's not going to go off of your credit report unless you dispute it and you have the statements of what I typically did was I would put other during my dispute, and I would put original account sold, something about the contract being voided or null and void or original contract paid off. Please remove. There's a phrase that you can put in there, and they have a certain amount of time to respond. If not, it drops off your credit report. So just look into it. There's companies like if you live in the Atlanta area or no matter what area, you can get in contact with 1130 Financial. They're credit experts. There's people out there that you might have to pay, but if you don't feel like dealing with the headache, pay them. Get it fixed. Why not? But you need to be more cognizant of how much you make, your debt to income ratio, your installment loans, revolving credit, building good credit history, good rapport, and saving up the percentage and stop opening up new accounts left and right. Anything is possible. You just have to put forth the energy, the research, and the understanding. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do know the basics. I love the research. And it's all in what you want to do. I don't know what else to tell you except for get your credit reports, scrub them, dispute as necessary, and stop trying to open up credit accounts, either loans or revolving, that you can't afford to pay back. Because eventually it's going to catch up with you. And you're going to be stuck. Until next time, this is the HERshyt Show. Have a good day.
Log on to youtube.com and subscribe to the HERshyt Show at TheHERshytShow. Brought to you by 8 Robinsons TV and Yellow Tub Creative.